So excited today. I just was listening to a gentleman on YouTube. And let me just say, what I am doing, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. Aren't we so fortunate to be in this type of world of technology where we can literally just go to a computer, whether it's a phone, a TV, a laptop, and we can open up a search engine and we can type up what we're looking for and find all of this wealth of information. So the Bible tells us that in the last days that people will be wiser but weaker. You don't have to do much. You don't have to do much these days to find out things. That in itself is a blessing. Yesterday, I was talking about water. I was listening to a man, I believe he was a scientist, and he was trying to explain water. He pretty much opened up by saying there's a lot we don't understand. And then he went on to explain the things that we as human beings do understand about water, which made me more and more aware that we don't know a thing. And as he kept talking, I kept being more and more confused. I hope that what I am trying to convey to you is received the way that it needs to be. That's why I need the Lord. I just want to explain to you, if you don't understand how these things that I'm speaking of are considered avenues to your soul, then I'll have to maybe make another video about that. Water is something that you can't be created without it. You can't live without it. It is something that we put on the outsides of our body, something that we put on the insides. We are made up of water. So when I say guarding the avenues of the soul, what are you wearing? And you may think, are we wearing water? How do we wear water? That's what I'm talking about. Today's topic is soap. I looked up a video on YouTube, and this is where I got my information from. So as I was saying, anybody can do this. It doesn't take, if you have a computer, you have some source of information, it doesn't take you going to the library, looking at encyclopedias for days and days to find out information. You can simply click a button these days. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that awesome? Soap, the history of soap. I didn't know. So I'm happy and excited to share this with you. And if I am in error, if I am erring about something, just correct me, okay? Because in life, you make a lot of mistakes. We make a lot of mistakes. Before soap was invented, and let me tell you the difference between inventions and creations. An invention is something that you make from things that were already created, okay? And creations are things that you formed from things that were not there. So we are inventors as people because we take from the things that were already created, and that is how it comes about, okay? So before soap was invented, people use water to clean themselves, simply water. Is that going to work these days? No, especially with COVID. We are not simply going to just use water. And you know, when you've been sweating and you've been eating some things and it causes you to have funk, you will know that you need some soap. I don't care how well you eat, where you live, how much money you have. You can't go days and months and years without using some form of cleaning agent. So water didn't suffice. It was good while it lasted. But listen, soap dates back to about 4,000 years ago in Babylon. You look at the pictures of the walls of the Egyptian tombs, you will see that. I saw a picture in one of the videos. It was a lady who was receiving help with her bath. She was sitting on a mat, something like this, with her knees bent. She had 3 assistants, honey, for her bath. She had, I believe it was a lady holding her hand, helping her with her balance and letting her smell a flower. And then she had a person who was taking care of her clothes. And then there were two other people, so I believe it's a total of four. There was a total of four people. The other two were pouring water over her and using their hands. And if soap had been created, they were using their hands, rubbing the soap on her. That's how they did. Those pictures tell a lot. So what happened? Okay, water was mixed with sand or either mud, and it was used as an exfoliant. You just go down to the river, honey. You get on in the river. You take your clothes, you dip them in there, and you wring them out, and you feel cleansed. There's a tree that I learned about recently called I forgot what the name of the tree is, but there are soap nuts. They're berries that come from the tree, and they create. To me, it's amazing to discover. I just learned about it this week, so it's amazing for me to discover those things. Soap was first created to clean clothing and material. First, it was not used on our bodies, but it was used to clean our clothing and other materials. Wood ash and charcoal were added to water because they are alkaline. Wood ash and charcoal are alkaline substances that were added to the water to form soap in the earlier days. About 4,000 years ago, in Babylon was the earliest record that I came across. Now, Mediterranean nations like Italy and Spain added things like olive oil and castile to make them less harsh. Okay? And then soap making spread across the world to different parts of the world. Next, things were added like whale blubber, beef tallow, and ash and lye. After that, fragrant essential oils was added to remove the smell of things like the vegetable oils and the oils that have been added, the beef tallow, the whale blubber, animal fats and things like that were in the soap. So that's how essential oils came into the picture. Now, after the fragrant essential oils were added to remove the smell, in about the 17th and 1800s, after people began to understand how disease was spread, it became mass produced. And there was a scientist who was a German scientist. His name was Otto, O-T-T-O, Rohm, R-O-H-M, from what I understand. With this big old world we have, sometimes, let me just put it like this. I don't want to discredit anything, but sometimes great minds think alike. So he was somewhere way, maybe in Germany, way across the world, someone else, there may have been something else going on. But usually in history, only one person gets the credit because they go by what was recorded, okay? He created soap out of petroleum byproducts, and that became known as synthetic detergent. Okay, now let's talk about internal, how we clean, not soap, but how we clean ourselves internally. Internally, water. We have to drink water to clean ourselves. Water cleanses. That was some of the information from yesterday. The sunlight is pure. My grandmother used to hang clothes on the line, and she used to love to see white clothing on a clothesline because the sun purifies. Sunlight is good for you. Oxygen. These might not be things you think about when you're thinking about cleaning your body, but you have to have oxygen. So when you wear masks, when you block your passageways and you can't breathe, you're depriving your cells and your body of oxygen. You have to have oxygen to live. You need clean air. Internal food. Leviticus, the 11th chapter, tells us foods that God created that he allows us to eat because they are clean. When you eat foods that God has not given the okay, If it's there are certain birds, there are certain insects, there are certain animals, there are certain beasts of the field, there are certain fish that are considered clean. If they're not clean, they are scavengers. They clean up the earth. And when you put those things in your body, it's like eating trash in the human sense. Oh, it tastes so good. It's trash. Internally, we need to take a break sometime. Fast. We need to fast sometimes. Fasting is a way to reset your body and to give your body a break. And if you want to know more details about detoxing certain parts of your body, I invite you to talk with one of your local health store owners or holistic healers or natural practitioners about what to use to clean different. You have 5 body systems, and all of them from time to time need to be cleaned, just like your house. I'm no expert, I'm learning too, but we're talking about how we need to clean. When I was a little girl, my mom used to give us laxatives from time to time. It would be candy. This little chocolate, I forgot the name of chocolate candy, honey. We just be eating it. It tastes good. And it was a laxative. And then we go run into the bathroom after a certain time. Because my mother understood we need to have our bodies clean. Now, I don't know how healthy and safe they were, but I also remember castor oil. And around this time of the year, before it gets really cold, people used to give their children castor oil. I remember giving it to my little cousin one time. I was feeling like I was grown on my own. Like, boy, come here, take this castor oil. It's about to get cold outside. I want to protect you, keep you safe, and keep you healthy during the wintertime. And I didn't mix it with any lemon juice, with any orange juice, or anything. Just put it on a big old tablespoon and drink this. And it's really thick, And he was like, I think he will remember that the rest of his days. It was a good memory for me. Woo, he's probably never drank it again. But anyway, let's go spiritually, because I don't have much time. Spiritually, I was looking at YouTube and I came across, this is my first time ever hearing this man. I had to listen to a few of his videos to see, wait a minute, who am I listening to? What do they believe? Because there was a question about what do you believe about creation? I needed to know. But even if he didn't believe what I believe, I listened to one of his videos about what is creation, and boy, his explanation blew my mind. Is there a God? It was the question. Okay, his name, he's an Indian man. He's from India. And I think the way the people were sitting around him, at his feet and questioning him, he has a reputation. He seems to be a wise man that people revere, and they go to him for answers. His name on YouTube is Sadhguru, Sadhguru, Sadhguru. I believe it's pronounced Sadhguru. There was one video, 5 tips to naturally cleanse your body at home, by him. And then there was another one, 5 ways to clean your aura. So let's talk about spiritually. What is your aura? He defined aura as a subtle manifestation of everything that you are. Why do I talk about soap or water or whatever I'm going to talk about it? Why am I talking about it in 3 different aspects? Externally, internally, and deeper inside your spirit man, spiritually. When you think about it, when God created the world, he created everything first that the man would need, and then he created man. He worked what we would call backwards, because we would probably create something or invent something first and then create the things that it needed, maybe. But God worked, he prepared everything. When we find out, as women, when we find out we're having a baby, then we prepare for the baby. But God prepared everything first and then created man.